This time on the Cheetah Diaries. His adoring public may be waiting, but where is Ambassador Joseph?
Sometimes they will be just awesome, get up, walk straight out, and some days you won't get them in the car. So
Seb and Minky get feisty.
So, I don't come in with the Meerkats very often.
The Fox boys gang up on Brad.
Even though Brad is older, they don't care. They're the biggest.
There's tension at the fence line.
they're not settled by any means. So she would hiss at her quite a bit. It's the kittens really fascinate her, though.
And tragedy strikes the servals.
Everybody's in a real state of shock about this horrible, horrible thing to have happened.
Cheetah Outreach has one mission: to save the threatened wild cheetah. Here, members of the public get to meet specially reared ambassador cats. A hands-on encounter with a cheetah can be a humbling experience, and it becomes easier to understand why they should be protected. Future cheetah ambassadors start life at the Aikendale Cub House. Right now, they have 5 young cubs in training: boys Brock, Cole and Yell, and girls Elsa and Zingula.
I'm really pleased with how they're all doing. They're really bright, active, fitted together really well as a nice little group, and really social.
Emily's goal is to train the cubs to be comfortable with people.
These cats are going to be ambassadors for their species and working with the public, spreading the message about cheetah conservation. So we want the human bond to be really strong and have no problem meeting the public and be really comfortable and confident doing that. And it's all looking really positive in that respect so far.
Fast forward 10 years and they could turn out just like this guy, superstar ambassador Joseph.
This is for the cover shoot. They want the ballerina with the cheetah. Joseph is our most experienced cat. Shoot work, he's very relaxed, very comfortable around shoots. You know, he's been in movie work, various fashion shoots, documentaries. So it's something he's very used to, very comfortable with.
Whenever Cheetah Outreach is asked for a public appearance, Joe is the natural choice. He's been asked to appear at a corporate event at the prestigious One and Only Hotel, where his adoring public is waiting.
So this is our first external function from Paardenvlei. Should be like every other function, just leaving from a different venue. If Joe wants to actually leave.
New comfy platform might be more difficult to convince him to get off of.
Joseph seems happy where he is.
Let's go. Joe is a cat that thinks with his stomach a lot, so food motivation is a very big thing for him, so hopefully he'll come down off the platform for what he thinks is food. Come, Jojo. Let's go. Come, my boy.
I might be food motivated, but I know an empty bowl when I see one.
It is food. It is food. Come in. Come.
There we go.
Now just get him in this direction.
Wrong way, though.
Joseph may be down, but he's certainly not coming out.
We're going to try, see if he won't come to be with us, because sometimes he'll come over to the gate to be with people if he's not that interested in food.
Can Dawn and Yogi get Joseph to his function on time? Joseph is not the only one who's not quite himself. The animals moved into their new home at Paardenvlei just last week. Many of them are still acclimatising. Liesel's concerned about the serval family, who seem more stressed than usual.
They're not settled by any means.
We expected them to be very nervous coming out, which they are because they've got less cover at the moment. Outside, and obviously it's an unfamiliar area, it's all new and, you know, lots of stuff going on and movement and noises.
Liesl has always had a special relationship with the servals. It all started 7 years ago with Baggins.
Well, this is Baggins, our little serval kitten. He's about 7 weeks old at the moment. We're hoping to use Baggins as an ambassador to educate people not only about the cheetahs, but also the smaller cats we have in Africa.
Then came partner Legacy, and then came the babies.
I'm extremely attached to the babies. I mean, they're Baggins' babies after all. They would always have a very special part of my life, and that's why it's so important for me to really spend a lot of time with them. And I just love watching them and seeing them behave in all the same playful ways that Baggins did when he was small, so they remind me a lot of him. I'm definitely going to make a big effort with the servals over the next few days to try and coax them into, you know, relaxing and playing a bit, and definitely keep a special eye on them and spend more time with them because they're going to have more difficulty adjusting, I think, than any of the other small animals.
It's a sensible idea, as their neighbours, the jackals on the other side of the fence, also seem agitated.
Malaika, are you ready? Are you ready? Come here, come here.
She knows.
Malaika the caracal is also settling in.
I thought she might be a little bit nervous because it's a new area, but she just marched along like this and wanted to check everything out. She's very alert, of course, you know, in a new area. This is the first time I've seen her actually watching the birds like this. So she's very interested. She likes to walk along a fence because it makes her feel a little more secure than being out in the open. She's just, yeah, she smells the servals.
They're right next to each other.
Legacy sometimes teased her through the fence, so she would hiss at her quite a bit. It's the kittens really fascinate her, though. She looks for them, and then when she finds them, she hisses at them. Yeah, Legend isn't afraid of her at all.
No,
Legend will come right up to the fence. She was actually trying to whack at one of the jackals this morning. She really is feisty. She's definitely hissing at it.
But a bigger concern than the servals is Malaika's other neighbours, the jackals.
The jackals get very excited when she goes by, and they try and grab her through the fence.
The problem is that in Tombi, the female jackal gets extremely aggressive towards Malaika for some reason.
She tries to bite her through the fence, so we can't let her get too close. Here, we're walking, we're going everywhere and exploring, so the walks are a lot more interesting for her and for me.
With some of the animals battling to settle in at Paardevlei, Meerkats Seb and Minky are still all alone at Spear.
So the meerkat enclosure is going to take a lot more work. It's a very complicated design to make it dig-proof and very labour-intensive putting it up. So unfortunately, they're still going to have to wait another week or so before they come through.
And while the cats are away, the meerkats will play. The enclosures at Spear are being dismantled. The old home is starting to look like a ghost town.
So it looks like those two guys are pretty hungry and very happy to see people.
Seb and Minky have been starved of company. They're very excitable.
Here it is. Oh, hey. We're supposed to stay in. So just both going to eat out today.
Absolutely. It's a nice day for eating out.
The meerkats have changed a little bit over the last few bands. They've definitely become more territorial. They seem to be more selective about the people they're happy to spend time with, and we've had them show aggression towards a few of the handlers that they were very happy with before. I'm going to be extra careful today loading them into their little crate because there's always possibility of a bite. Even if it's not in aggression, sometimes they just play up because of their insecurities and territorial tendencies. So maybe I'll have you crate them.
So today we've got the last tablet for Col.
Last week, boy cub Col was rushed to the vet when Emily spotted blood in his urine.
It's not normal for there to be any blood there.
We're going to try and do an ultrasound, depending if you'll allow it.
Is it good?
I can see that there's a bit of blood in the urine. Despite the fact that we didn't see an overwhelming infection, he needs to go on to antibiotics at this stage. So we'll put him on antibiotics for a while and see if we can clear it up.
Okay, we'll go in and give this tablet then. Boys. With these antibiotics, we don't want to put them in the food just because at the moment they're just learning to eat the meat, and we don't want to have anything in there that's going to be off-putting. There might be a horrible flavour, they might crunch on it while they're eating the meat. So I wanted to keep it completely separate, and thankfully for him that's the last one. Hey my boy, you're a good lad.
His audience may be waiting, but Joseph still refuses to move.
Go.
So Dawn reverts once more to old tactics, and it seems Joseph can be led by his stomach.
Let's go, you know this. There we go.
Got him in the car, and some days you won't get them in the car. So we've won the first round.
So, let's go.
With the old enclosures at Spear deserted, the meerkats are taken to explore a new one every day. But Seb and Minky are getting fussy about the company.
Here you go.
So, I don't come in with the meerkats very often. It's fair to say I'm a little bit nervous of them.
What's best is to actually go out and rather supervise from outside. Otherwise, they're so preoccupied with the people and wanting attention. Yesterday, Minky bit that volunteer. She basically jumped from 2 meters away through the air. So I'm just warning you. Okay. Be ready. So I guess we're going to leave him to it for a bit.
Okay.
Back at the fence line, there's been a disaster. Serval kitten Legend has severely injured her leg. Emily is rushing the injured kitten to the hospital.
Obviously everybody's in a real state of shock about this horrible thing to have happened.
Can Emily get Legend to the vet on time? Debbie and Mike are checking in on the feuding fox family.
Since we've moved here to this bigger enclosure, it's been much easier to feed them. They're much more relaxed, and I think they're really enjoying the enclosures. I think they're ready. Come on, guys. Come on, yeah, I know. Where are you gonna go? Ready? Okay, go. These guys, they don't believe in sharing, but they go around looking to see if maybe somebody else has something better. It's just like my cats at home. They do the same thing. We have 5 battered foxes, but we have one of our foxes, the male, Brad, over in a separate enclosure because we're pretty sure that Janet is in season, and there's been a lot of squabbling because he's been picked on by the boys because Brad is on the kind of on the smallish side, and even though Brad is older, they don't care. It's whoever biggest.
So it's time for the 3 boys to go their own way.
We found a new home for them, a really nice home in the Western Cape. And they're going to that facility pretty soon, as soon as the permits are issued. So once they've gone, we're going to miss them, but it's going to be better for them and better for Jad and Brownie.
Liesel has arrived at the hospital, but there's disturbing news about serval kitten legend.
She came in with her leg very, very badly traumatized. Her caretakers didn't really know what happened, but she had lost the lower part of her leg and the upper part had been shredded, probably by another animal. And the only option was then to amputate her front leg. She's waking up now and she should be able to live happily, and especially with the care that she's getting in the captive state, she should be able to manage fine.
I was in the operation with the doctor and everything went really well. It came off cleanly, it's all come together nicely, there's nice muscle coverage over the area, and she's just got a line of stitches in place now where the skin will heal over. And she did really well. She did great through the anaesthetic. We had her on a drip just to counteract any shock that she might have been in. She's coming round nicely now, nice and slow, which is what we want. We don't want them to wake up too quickly and be disorientated about where they are or what's happening. And she's obviously had some pain relief and antibiotics on board, so they'll start working and make her feel nice and comfortable.
So from her shoulder down, she has nothing left on her right foreleg. And she'd have to learn to walk on 3 legs now.
All right, girl.
Joseph finally arrives at the big event. Luckily for Dawn, he's back to his old form. The Sage Business Group has just chosen a cheetah as their new mascot. And today they get to meet a real one, up close and personal.
Good boy. Good boy.
Sit.
Good boy.
Cheetahs are endangered. We are looking at about 10 to 15 years before extinction of the wild cheetah. There are only an estimated 7,500 adult cheetah left in the world. That was 2008 IUCN numbers.
Joseph behaves impeccably. The public learn about the problems the wild cheetah faces, and a hands-on encounter brings home the message.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you not everyone to stand up.
That is him purring, by the way, not a growl.
Come right up to him here and you can stroke him along his back and sides.
I guess everybody was excited to see the cheetahs. It creates an awareness for the cheetahs or endangered animals as a whole. So I think it's an awesome link between business and sort of foundation.
Humbling experience because he's just so wild and natural and free. And I'm at a loss for words.
Good boy.
It's good to see Joseph still has what it takes.
There we go. Because sometimes once a cat's been in a very top-star hotel, and I believe this is 7 stars, the one and only in the world. They don't want to leave. They like the opulence and the luxury.
A devastated Liesl brings Legend to her home to recuperate.
So we're just taking her indoors to settle her in a room where she can be on her own and with as little stimulation as possible.
The anaesthetic drugs have an effect on the thermoregulatory system in the body, so they can't control their own temperature. And being under anaesthetic, their body temperature drops, so it's important they're not in a drafty area or a cold area when they're just recovering from that anaesthetic. So Liesl very kindly has offered for us to bring her here to her house. She'll be nice and secure in here, nice and warm and comfortable overnight. And then we'll have a discussion about how best to house her over the next coming days and weeks. Obviously, it's really important. She's going to be learning how to balance on just the 3 legs. So we don't want her having too much interaction with other animals. We don't want them playing with her or chasing her or anything like that while she's not sure how to cope with the 3 legs. The good thing about animals when they lose a limb is they have 4. And that might sound silly, but with people, obviously, if you lose a limb, you're then down to half what you had. Whereas with animals, if they lose a limb, they've still got 3, and they can use the 3 as a kind of tripod, and that's what they tend to do. I still feel a little bit shocked by the whole affair, as everybody does, obviously. Quite traumatic to see the injuries to her leg. I was very shocked initially when I saw her. Yeah, I mean, the main concern would be infection, especially because it was such a dirty wound. So all of the tissue that was exposed would have been touching the ground if she was in contact with the other servals in the box before we found her. So it was a really dirty wound, it's called. Obviously, the surgeon took away a lot of the tissue that had been affected by that, and it was really well cleansed at the time of surgery. But there's always this possibility of microscopic bacteria and that kind of thing being in the wound that you miss a little bit or you can't clean fully. So they would always go on a course of antibiotics just to prevent infection.
We're obviously all absolutely devastated, and the main focus now is just to make sure she comes through this okay. Yeah, it's against this little baby, so it's certainly not easy.
Next time on the Cheetah Diaries, is Legend on the road to recovery?
So I've just come over today to have a check of Legend, and this is the day after her surgery.
Is this the end for the Fox family feud?
They're at the age now where obviously they're starting to become adults and they're challenging Dad.
And Cheetah cub Yell is rushed to the vet.
Of course, these things all happen in a flash.